Is Jungkook really jealous? Returning secretly with Jin, ARMY left shocked and full of questions. A shocking piece of news once again shakes public discussion. After the controversial moment when Jimin and Taeyong were allegedly seen kissing while swimming in the ocean during a short broadcast, a new, equally dramatic issue has now surfaced. Jungkook, who was said to have shown a jealous expression, is reported to have secretly returned to Korea with Jin. The question then arises, is this merely a logistical coincidence, or a real sign that Jungkook truly felt offended and chose to withdraw? This speculation has created a wave of emotional reactions among fans. ARMY flooded social media with theories, comments, and their own interpretations. Some viewed the secret return as clear evidence of Jungkook's disappointment, while others believed the issue was deliberately exaggerated for sensation. But is there really a direct connection between the ocean moment and the sudden decision to return to Korea? Or is all of this just a narrative constructed by the media and fans to create additional drama? On the other hand, the news that Jin also returned with Jungkook adds complexity to the issue. Why did Jin, known as a calm and mediating figure, join the trip? Was he acting as a companion trying to comfort Jungkook? Or was his presence merely coincidental and unrelated to the jealousy speculation? This question encourages the public not only to judge emotionally, but also to consider various perspectives more critically. This phenomenon shows how every detail in BTS members' activities can turn into material for global speculation. The 7-minute short broadcast, which should have been just a light-hearted moment, was twisted into a controversy sparking heated debate. ARMY is faced with a dilemma. Should they believe the narrative that Jungkook was jealous and chose to leave as a form of silent protest? Or should they remain skeptical and wait for official clarification? In reality, there is still no concrete evidence supporting the claim of internal conflict. What circulates are merely visual interpretations, video clips, and opinions spread across platforms like TikTok, YouTube, and Twitter. Yet in the digital era, opinion can quickly transform into fact believed by many. This raises a critical question. Are we, as the audience, truly witnessing reality? Or are we being manipulated by perception and media narratives? For some ARMY, this issue instead brings deep sadness. Many fans worry if Jungkook was truly hurt emotionally due to Jimin and Taeyong's interaction. They fear the secret return with Jin symbolizes an increasingly tangible emotional distance. But is this worry grounded, or merely a reflection of excessive protectiveness toward their idol? Here lies the importance of reflection and balance when processing any information. If indeed Jungkook left due to personal reasons related to jealousy, would that not show the human side of an artist often seen as perfect? But if the return was only due to scheduling or health matters, does it not mean the public has fallen into a trap of sensationalism? Are we willing to let ourselves be repeatedly caught in cycles of news built on assumptions and fragmented narratives with no solid basis? Critical thinking becomes even more crucial as this issue grows. Many small media outlets and fanbase accounts have exploited the moment to gain attention, engagement, and virality. Does this not indicate that discussions around BTS are no longer limited to their music, but also to dramas that might never have actually occurred? Are we enjoying their music? Or are we more occupied consuming dramas constructed by certain parties? Now, in the midst of this long debate, ARMY is invited to reflect on their position as an audience. Will they continue to be swept up by unverifiable opinions and theories, or will they try to maintain a critical distance to see what is truly fact and what is merely emotional interpretation? Do we simply accept the Jungkook jealousy narrative, or dare to challenge it by asking, who benefits from this issue? Clearly, the information we present comes from various media sources, both official and unofficial, yet its truth still needs to be tested. No one can confirm the actual motivation behind Jungkook and Jin's decision to secretly return to Korea. Therefore, the call to think critically is not merely a formality but an urgent necessity, so we do not fall into hoaxes and empty sensationalism. Perhaps this is the moment for fans to ask themselves, are we following the reality of the artists we love, or only the shadow shaped by media and internet virality? Are we willing to be part of the game of sensation? Or are we ready to stand on the side of healthy skepticism? These questions are deliberately posed so the discussion does not stop at shallow gossip, because behind every controversy, there is always an opportunity for the public to learn to be more critical in distinguishing fact from fiction. In the end, whether Jungkook was truly jealous or not is just a small detail. What matters more is how we, as consumers of information, choose to respond, believe blindly, or sharpen critical reflection to build a healthier media culture. Was Jungkook's secret return with Jin to Korea after the controversial ocean moment an authentic emotional signal, or just a logistical coincidence overinterpreted? This fundamental question must be asked before public opinion hardens into a new truth. For without adequate verification, is it fair to conclude there was sulking based only on disjointed fragments in time? If there is indeed correlation, what methodological evidence can truly bind the short broadcast moment to the decision to return? And if not, should caution not be the initial response? The heated debate on timelines shows how collective emotions are easily triggered by convincing narratives lacking context. Are we assessing facts or merely echoes of feelings amplified by algorithms? When the claim "Jungkook jealous" spreads without supporting documentation, are we not obliged to pause and demand clear standards of proof? If facial expressions are used as the basis, have we accounted for other variables such as camera angles, lighting, and transition moments that often mislead? Should this not demand strict verification before attaching any labels? Returning to the joint departure with Jin, the public quickly connected two events happening close in time as though they had causality. But does temporal proximity automatically mean cause and effect? Are there alternative explanations? Work schedules, personal matters, health reasons, or internal protocols that are equally plausible but less dramatic, and thus overlooked by popular narratives? If rational alternatives are dismissed simply for lacking sensational value, is that not a symptom of selective bias narrowing our reading of reality? From the perspective of mass psychology, we must ask, has ARMY's emotional attachment to each member shifted the standard of proof from what is true to what feels true? If so, is it not time to balance empathy with methodological skepticism, so discussion does not sink into echo chambers? Are we ready to accept that love for an idol can coexist with commitment to informational integrity? Or will we let preference dominate reasoning? We must also audit the incentives driving issue circulation. Who benefits when the narrative of jealousy and secret return dominates public attention? Do platforms gain viewership spikes, channels gain growth, and accounts gain social validation from shock-inducing content? If the ecosystem rewards sensation, is vigilance not the only safeguard so we do not become unpaid operators of the attention machine? The next methodological question: which primary sources have been directly examined, and to what extent has the authenticity of materials, video, audio, timestamps, been verified? Has there been tracing to the first upload, metadata checks, or cross-fragment comparisons to eliminate editing manipulation? Without such procedures, are not all claims, whether truly jealous or mere coincidence, still hypothetical and unfit to be promoted as fact? From an ethical standpoint, we must consider proportionality. Is it proper for an artist's personal integrity to be thrust into the public sphere solely due to unproven speculation? If privacy and dignity are at stake, should not the standard of caution be raised, not lowered? Are we willing to trade reputation rights for the instant gratification of consuming unverified drama? Reflection for readers. Do you truly believe this event is real, or do you see a framing fabrication aimed at attracting media attention? What concrete evidence do you hold, beyond emotional impressions, that can be independently cross-checked? If uncertain, what verification criteria do you require? Official clarification, full uncut recordings, or first-party testimony? To deem your judgment valid? Are you willing to withhold conclusions until such standards are met? We must also recognize cognitive biases such as confirmation bias and effect heuristic. Are you more prone to accept information aligning with preconceived narratives about group dynamics? If emotional intensity makes short clips appear more real than lengthy, less exciting explanations, is that not a signal to hit the brakes and reset proof standards? Are we ready to reject tidy stories in favor of truths that may be less dramatic? In digital literacy practice, a simple framework applies. Pause, check the source, seek broader coverage, trace claim origins. Have you followed these 4 steps before pressing share? If not, is waiting not a form of responsibility, rather than weakness?